I'm Larry Fedoruk. This is I Was 8. We're into season 3 now, and in the coming weeks, we'll have fist fights, the priesthood, and you know me by now, more toy cars. But first, let's enjoy the flavors of this week's story from the time when I was 8.
Season 3, Chapter 3, The Condiments File.
Much of my childhood revolved around candy. How do I get candy? How do I get money for candy? It's Halloween, I'm getting candy. Christmas? Candy. Valentine's Day candy. Easter? Candy. How come there's no Labor Day candy? Let's get to work on that. As we get older, we still like candy, but often we replace regular candy with food candy. The biggest and most popular food candy is called ketchup. I really didn't discover ketchup until I was 8. Well, kind of. I'll explain more in a moment. But up to that time, my condiment of choice was mustard. Loved mustard. Would put mustard on everything if my parents let me. My parents actually try to discourage and limit my mustard use. You know, if you eat too much mustard, your skin will turn bright, bright yellow. I guess I kind of believe them, because if you ever got mustard on your hands, it was there for like 3 days, no matter how much you wash your hands. But the mustard was so delicious, I was willing to take that chance. Who is that bright yellow boy? Why, that's Larry Fedoruk, the mustard child. My mom made these mustard pickles, and I loved them. I loved mixing them into my mashed potatoes. Don't knock it till you've tried it. My grandfather grew mustard on the farm and explained to me about the mustard seed and the mustard plant. Is there a ketchup plant? Well, no, not exactly. Why not? Well, maybe you should invent one. Oh, how I always hated that answer. Listen, I know they were just trying to be positive and encouraging, but it seemed the answer to everything. Hey, Grandpa, how come we don't have flying cars? Well, maybe you should try and invent one. Why is everything on me? Labor Day candy, ketchup plants, flying cars. I got a lot of projects on the go. I'm only 8. Can we divide up the workload here a bit? To this day, my favorite hamburger is a nice thin patty on a plain white bun with a smear of mustard on the patty, not the bun. Best burger ever. When our town had a sports day or a festival of some sort, the Lions Club had a barbecue booth. Dad, as a lion in good standing, took his turn at the grill and would always slip me a burger. Plain bun, mustard, on the patty, not the bun. Delicious. This may be the first time I've ever admitted that. It's tough to admit that because today we live in an age of the giant gourmet burger. Oh, sure, there's lots of fast food burgers around. They're all great, but this is a relatively new phenomenon. The gourmet burger restaurant, where the more complicated the burger, allegedly the better. What do we have here? A third or a half a pound of ground beef with cheese and bacon? Well, what else you got? Lettuce, tomato, onions, pickles? Yeah, throw some of that on there. Peppers? Sure, why not? Avocado and jalapenos? Oh yes, the Tex-Mex. Sure, I'll get some of that. Thin slice of haddock. You can get the surf and turf burger. Oh yeah. How about a double patty? And we'll put the onion rings right inside there. Oh yeah, okay, sure. Saute some mushrooms, why don't you? Yeah. We can also add some chilies and a fried egg. Yeah, good, why not? Then this thing comes to your table and it's so massive it blocks out the sun. No, it is the sun. It's the center of its own burger planetary system. And we're all little asteroids revolving around it, trying to figure out how we're going to eat this thing. It's not a meal, it's a challenge, a dare. And before you even know where you're going to start, the server arrives with a wheelbarrow. Here's your fries, sir. Will there be anything else? Yes, I have the Diet Coke. I won't even go to one of these places unless it's near a hospital. Yeah, it's all good and delicious, but one time I just want to say, A small single patty, please. Plain white bun. A little mustard on the patty, not the bun. I'd be laughed out of that restaurant, ostracized by my friends. Now, these days, I don't care about that as much, so I'll admit it. That is the best hamburger there is. Yes, it's a childhood influence from when I was 8. You know, you always remember and crave some of the tastes from when you were a kid. But I also remember some sage advice I got back then. My best friend Richard had an older brother, Randy, and he sort of became my de facto older brother too. Randy was a good guy. Let us tag along with him sometimes. When he got old enough to drive, he gave us rides, told us bawdy jokes. The potato goes in the front. Oh, that's rich, Randy. He treated us well, and he always had a lot of good wisdom to share. Make sure you straighten up and fly right. I can't fly. I'm still working on the flying car idea. I'm really busy. The best advice he ever gave us, I can remember the exact moment. A Tuesday afternoon, loitering on the steps of the Roman Catholic Church, watching him smoke cigarettes. Boys, he said, remember, never eat anything bigger than your head. This made sense to me. In hindsight, I guess he was pretty much kidding around with us, but you know, it's still good advice. Thank you, Randy, wherever you are, for providing me with one of the main guiding principles of my life. Never eat anything bigger than your head. He would also tell us, do unto others, and then get out of there, Randy. And my point was, oh yeah, these burgers today are bigger than your head. Don't do it. Now, when I say I didn't really discover ketchup till much later, I mean store-bought ketchup. You see, my mom made ketchup. It was a time when people made their own jams, jellies, preserves, pickles. There was always a canning season in the fall. Great, really, but somehow Mom decided that she would also make ketchup. From scratch, as they say. There were several issues. For one, she could never quite eliminate all of the tomato seeds. The ketchup was thin and runny, and also a little spicy. Tasted more like a barbecue sauce than a ketchup. Apparently, only Mr. Hines and Mr. French, possibly Mr. Hunt, Mike, I think, knew the secret of proper ketchup. Sugar. Sugar is what makes it ketchup. Actually, it's a food rule. Food is delicious based on fat, salt, or sugar. Mom added the secret ingredient of love, but not enough sugar. I didn't like it, and I thought that's what ketchup is. So I stayed with mustard. Mustard was perfect for the 3 main meat groups: hamburger, hot dog, bologna. Mustard. Can't go wrong. Who needs ketchup? Can I take a moment here for relish? If it were up to me, relish wouldn't even be a condiment. I know, I sound like a condimist. A condiment should be a smooth, pourable, or squeezable sauce, not some chunky cold pickle soup. You know, of course, they have squeezable relish. Worst idea in the history of condiments. All the chunks clog the opening, and you shake and you squeeze until suddenly too much relish comes out, and it makes a huge embarrassing noise where everyone at the picnic looks over at you and, hey Stan, I know we're outdoors, but come on, we're eating here, you know. It was the relish bottle, honest. Relish doesn't even know what it is. Green relish, hot relish, mustard relish, sweet corn relish. You're not a condiment. You're more than welcome to sit with us at the barbecue. Just take off that condiment name tag. This one day when I was 8, I was playing at a friend's house, and suddenly it was lunchtime. They asked me if I wanted to stay for lunch. Sure, they phoned my mom. I was expecting delicious bologna sandwiches with Kool-Aid. Mustard on mine, please? But instead, his mom said she would boil some hot dogs. We waited at the kitchen table for the hot dogs to reach their peak point of boilability. Could I get my medium well, please? Just a little pink on the inside. Yeah, that would be great. As we waited, in front of us, we both had a plain slice of white bread on a plate. That is the go-to hot dog bun of the day. My friend went to the cupboard and brought back 2 plastic bottles, a yellow one and a red one. Mustard and... what's that? It's ketchup, he said. No, it's not. Ketchup comes in a jar and you have to use a spoon to put it on food. These bottles were cylindrical, with the thin little pointy nozzle on the end, just like they had in cafes. Fancy. My friend said, watch this, and he took the bottle of ketchup and carefully wrote his name on the white bread. The idiot friend, Philip. Well, no, he only wrote Philip, but I was like, wow, okay. I took the bottle and wrote Larry. Then the hot dogs arrived on our bread. Ooh. Now I have a hot dog with ketchup. Well, I was at somebody's house. I was a guest. So to be polite, I guess I'd have to eat it. I rolled up the bread and took a bite. Oh my God. This is ketchup? It's delicious. This is what ketchup is? This is what ketchup is supposed to be. Ah, how am I only discovering this now? More ketchup, please. Philip added mustard to his hot dog, but I went with the extra ketchup. Later that same day at home, I demanded our family start getting store-bought ketchup. We must have proper ketchup in this house. Either we get ketchup or I'm off the flying car project. This must have put a scare into them because we started getting ketchup bottles in the house. I discovered that ketchup and mustard had one thing in common. They went with pretty much everything. Then this one day when I was with Dad, he stopped at the gas station lunch counter for a cup of coffee. I saw these 2 men eating breakfast and one of them poured ketchup onto his plate. How could I not realize this as well? Ketchup could also be consumed in the morning. Maybe not with oatmeal, but everything else, fair game. Is there any time, place, or thing that can't also include ketchup? I don't think so. When we traveled to the city, I could get these things called French fries. And when I found out how well ketchup went with French fries, I just wanted to move to the city. One day in the city, we were visiting my cousin, and I was extolling the virtues of French fries and ketchup, and he said when they go out to eat at the cafe, he orders his French fries with gravy. Hold on. Gravy is for mashed potatoes, not the French fried ones. Oh, just try it, he said. So, next time I was at the cafe in the city with my folks, I ordered the French fries with gravy. You're going to ruin your food, my parents warned, and you're not getting anything else, so you better eat that. My cousin was right. French fries and gravy were amazing. Gravy as a condiment. Fantastic. But then I did something that I'm sure no one else in the history of the world had ever done up to that point. With the fries and gravy, I added ketchup. Holy wow, how richly exhilarating. Weeks later, I told my cousin, hey, you know that fries with gravy thing you told me about? I tried it, outstanding, but here's the thing. I also added ketchup. His mind was blown. He had always thought of fries with gravy or ketchup. I was turning him on to fries with gravy and ketchup. Oh, wow, I'm going to try that for sure. He was a little older than me, so I kind of felt proud that I could give an older kid some culinary advice. So I thought, what the heck, I'm on a roll. I added, oh yeah, make sure to never eat anything bigger than your head. What? Well, you'll see, it's good, you know, whatever. You know, it's always interesting to me how we grow and mature. We go from carefree kids to school age to adolescence, teen years so quickly. We go from arithmetic to math to algebra. We go from schoolyard games and teasing to becoming interested in the opposite sex. Or same sex, you know, sex in general. We're not even sure what it is yet, but something different is happening here. I guess for me, my maturing was moving from mustard to ketchup, and eventually gravy. We all grow in our own way, I guess. Oh, sure, for me there was all that other stuff, too. Perhaps too much information here, but I'll never forget later in high school, I was still 16, she was almost 18. A warm summer night, one thing leads to another, and she showed me fries with mayonnaise.
Thanks for listening to I Was 8, a weekly podcast voiced, written, and produced by Larry Fedoruk. This podcast is available on most major platforms, or check out the I Was 8 YouTube channel. Larry Fedoruk, that's Fedoruk, can be reached at larryfedoruk37@gmail.com.